I just did a video the other day on the drivers who I think have been the most disappointing so far this season. But now I want to have Harry speak about the 3 drivers who I think have impressed the most so far this season. This is in no particular order, by the way. First of all, Oscar Piastri. He's in his 2nd season now, and he's really come on for his 1st year. He still has a ways to go, of course, because again, it's only his 2nd season. Some things he'll get better at with more experience. But he just, of course, got his first win in Hungary, where he was really great that weekend. He was so close to pole in qualifying. He got the great start at the start of the race to get the race lead while Max and Lando were playing silly buggers on whatever the Christ was going on there. And then, yeah, he had a mistake or two through the race, but he drove a really solid race, and he was, in my opinion, the better McLaren driver on that race day. Norris was quick later in the race, yes, and there was that whole mess, but look, all of that aside, Piastri was still really good in Hungary. He was brilliant in Monaco, of course missed it on pole and couldn't get past Leclerc, who in the race just had things under control. But Oscar still managed to stay cool and not make any mistakes to get a P2 finish, which, you know, as processional as Monaco is, it's still a track that requires all your focus to keep it out of the barrier. And he'll probably be kicking himself over losing that last lap time in Austria qualifying, because he could have won the race perhaps, but, well, that's racing. Piastri's also just been really consistent this season. He's been consistently in the points. Every race, including sprints, except the main race in Miami, where he got buggered over by Carlos Sainz and that whole shebang that went on between them. But before then, he was on 4 points, maybe even a podium fighting chance, but who knows, top 5 anyway. Oscar has been consistent. He's been consistently scoring the points, and it's putting him in quite a good position, really. Look, my point is that Piastri has been really solid so far this year. He's in his 2nd season, but he's driving with him, conducting himself with a lot of maturity, and, you know, like he's been here longer than just, you know, a season and a half so far. He doesn't lose his cool that much either. He stays calm. He makes some mistakes, yeah, but you don't see many silly mistakes, if you kind of know what I mean. Like, say, I don't know, Stroll in China, for example. Like, you don't see Oscar getting pissed off on the radio that much. He's kind of a little bit like this generation's version of Kimi Räikkönen, if you can what I mean. He's also not all that far off the battle for 3rd in the Drivers' Championship, and it would not surprise me to see him scoring more podiums and maybe another win or two and really getting stuck into that battle for 3rd as the season goes on. Because, you know, he's a great talent and McLaren have a great car. He can absolutely get stuck in there, and I'm going to be interested to see how he fares as the season goes on, if he can keep up this impressiveness, to word it one way. Next, Nico Hülkenberg. Hülkenberg is Ken as the driver who cannot score a podium to bloody save himself, but he's still a really good talent behind the wheel, and he's just been reminding us of that this year. Finishing in the top relief, and in every race he's finished bar 2, he's scored points in 5 races so far, or 6 if you count the sprint races, and in 12 of them points finishes were 12 consecutive 6th place finishes at Austria and Silverstone. While all the chaos and carnage and madness was going on about him, he was just getting his head down, getting on with it, and bringing him the results for Haas. And for a team like Haas, getting 2 6th place finishes in a row, that is big for them. And that really helped them out in the championship, because they're there for the battle for 6th place now. And, you know, when you take into account how at the start of the season Komatsu was saying about how, you know, they'd probably be at the back at the start of the season, Hulk's performances just look better. They're not at the back. They've not been at the back this year. Okay, sure, Hülkenberg has had some help from Kevin and specifically Saudi Arabia, but look, Hulk has been consistent. He's been consistently in that midfield fight this year. He's been fighting for those lower points positions, and he's showing why Sauber Audi have signed him on a multi-year deal. They could really benefit from having a driver like Hulk. But Haas are getting that benefit at the moment. They made, I think, the right choice to bring him in. He was out of the game for a few years, but he's come back and he is still damn good. And if Hülkenberg can keep this trend up, and Haas can keep the trend up of being decent, by Haas standards anyway, then Haas really could be in a good place for finishing 7th in the championship. Honestly, minimum. Whether they can catch RB or not, Joaquin's, that really depends on how RB does, how Haas does, but anyway, moving on. I mentioned RB there. Finally, the 3rd driver I want to mention, Yuki Tsunoda. Look, I've said before that Tsunoda is one of the drivers who's impressed me the most so far this season, and I still stand by that statement. Sure, there's been a few no-so-good weekends, but everybody has some no-so-good weekends. But overall, Tsunoda has been putting in the performances and getting the results and the points. He's looking like a much more competent driver this year. He's been a lot calmer than he has in the past, which is good. It's going to bode him well. He's really grown into that team leader role at RB. But he kind of had to assert himself as the team leader after Gasly left. He's managed to do that, and that's what he as I just said, needed to do. Like Hulkenberg, Tsunoda isn't getting on with it. He's keeping it with all the drama and the chaos going on. He's just doing his own thing, focusing on himself and RB, and putting in some brilliant overtakes like in Japan or Imola. His team sometimes putting in some brilliant pit stops to help him along with the way and getting good results like they did in Japan. And he's bringing him the results, and he's alongside Ricciardo managed to give RB a much better first half of this season than they had last year. Tsunoda has been doing really all thing he can to show that he should get a shot at Red Bull. Like, we all keen Perez's seat is questionable at best, so there's a chance. How keen the Red Bull higher ups are on taking Tsunoda over, say, Ricciardo, or even just sticking Lawson straight in Watkins, but I'm just saying Yuki should get a shot. He's been proving himself as team leader at RB, so why not give him a shot at Red Bull? And just an honourable mention to the Ferrari drivers, because they've been rather impressive at being able to put up with Ferrari's crap and not losing their sanity. Specifically Leclerc. He's had more of the crappier end to it. Seriously, that man has the patience of a saint. Oh, and I'd also like to throw an honourable mention the way to Alex Jakes. Not a driver, yes I can, but some of that man's commentary calls this year have been incredible. What has been the most impressive drivers for you so far this season? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new around here for more Formula 1 content for me. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.